Hey, it's me, Bad B. I'm back. I'm still feeling pretty ordinary. I'm not sure why, but on the weekend I always seem to have some sort of cold and feel terrible. But yeah, yesterday I just suddenly developed a cough and then there was all this green phlegm. Anyway, overshare. So I've just been lying down. I've legit been lying down all day. After I got diagnosed, I think the hardest part was telling people about it because I didn't look sick. I felt fine. Like I was healthy and I didn't expect it. I'm sure like other people didn't expect it as well. So I remember when I went to get the results, it was after work one day and I just thought I'd go there by myself and it would be fine. My husband thought it would be fine, so he didn't go with me. I remember he was texting me after the doctor told me, and then I had just finished texting him and I said, I've got breast cancer. And then he managed to text me at the same time and was like, all good. So we just didn't expect it at all. He was pretty surprised, but he's been really good throughout all this. I think my parents probably did not take it super well. My mom is Buddhist and she's quite religious. So, if anything happens, she'll be like, just pray to Buddha and, just wear your Buddha and everything will be fine. And she was in Thailand when I texted her. I was like, Mom, I have cancer. And she's like, oh, I hope the doctor's wrong. Have you lost your head? And I was like, no, I haven't started treatment yet. And then, after chatting, I think she really just didn't believe me. And I was hoping the doctor was wrong too, but I don't think they were this time. They were last time. Trying to think of things that would help me, obviously. So she's like, okay, look, I'm coming back to Australia soon. There's these herbs that you can get in Thailand. So what you do is you get the leaves and then you dry them, then you ground them into a powder, and then you eat the powder. So I'm going to bring this powder back. And I was like, Mom, do not bring a suspicious looking powder from Thailand to Australia on a plane. We have a show called Border Security in Australia, and it's just people bringing illegal things and trying to smuggle the weirdest things into the country. I was like, oh God, my mother's going to be on Border Security. And she's like, don't worry, I can bring it into Japan when I come see you. And I was like, do not try to smuggle a weird powder into Japan from Australia. I mean, she has an Australian passport, but it would be so sus. Anyway, so there's Mum. She's like, okay, just keep praying to Buddha. I hope they're wrong. We're going to get you this powder of these leaves. And I was like, Mom, that's really nice. But if this worked, obviously everyone would be using it, right? Instead of modern medicine. Anyway, she still stands by the special like Thai remedies, which is nice. Tiger balm doesn't work for everything, but it does work for a lot of things. So when I told my dad, I also texted him, and my dad is like super health conscious. So he's been vegan for about, I'm going to say like 15, 20 years now. So originally he just like cut out red meat, then he stopped drinking, then he cut out all meat, became vegetarian, and now he's like fully vegan, like not just full veg, but he grows mostly all of his own vegetables and he'll try to make everything from scratch, like bread and jam and like pasta sauces. And like every time we go to the supermarket, he'll read the ingredients on everything. He's super pedantic about that. And then so I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I've got breast cancer. And then he goes, okay, so yes, let's eat less meat, more vegetables, sugar fuels cancer. And then so there's Dad, I think, trying his best to sort of deal with this. And, considering I was pretty healthy, so nothing could have prepared anyone for it. But a little while later in the mail, I received this book. So my dad, he was clearly concerned and he went to a bookstore, and my parents live out in the country now that they're retired. But he went to a bookstore and found this book and bought it for me. I'm not sure if you can see. So it's by Professor Jane Plant, and the title is Your Life in Your Hands. Understand, Prevent, and Overcome Breast Cancer and Ovarian Cancer. Great. Thanks, Dad. I'll make sure to read this book about preventing and overcoming cancer. I am reading it very slowly because I usually only read it at the hospital when I'm waiting. But basically, this lady has gone full veg and, doesn't have any contact with chemicals. And, I'm sure it's really good, but it just seems like such a difficult way to live. And like, I've read what she's written, and it makes sense. Like, dairy isn't really good for you, as delicious as it is. And, there are so many hormones in meat now. So that's why I've kind of gone semi-veg, cutting out dairy and not really eating meat unless I kind of feel like chicken. And fish I feel like is okay if it's cooked. I texted my brother a little while later because I assumed my parents would have told him. And he was like, yeah, Dad told me it's treatable, right? Yeah, I hope so. Thanks. So because my dad's Japanese, he's very stoic and like doesn't really show emotion. My brother's very much the same, and they're both very quiet. I think my favorite reaction so far was definitely from my boss. So she knew I was getting the biopsy, but she was like, you'll be fine. You'll be okay. It'll be nothing. Don't worry. But then I texted her, we will protect you. And it was definitely my favorite reaction to cancer so far because it didn't make me feel sick and it didn't make me feel sad, and it was proactive and it made me laugh. But usually, now I don't really tell people so much because they can kind of see, or I assume they can put it together with, me wearing wigs and kind of not being there all the time. But usually I'll just say, I got the cancer, or like just a bit of cancer or something like that. But when people find out, and I think other people with cancer will sort of have the same experience, but when someone finds out that you have cancer, just the way they approach you completely changes. So I don't know if you've seen that episode of Friends where Monica's talking to Richard and she heard about his divorce.
Always with a sympathetic head tilt. How you doing? You okay? Answer with the I'm okay head bob. I'm okay.
Oh, how are you doing? Are you okay? So they give you the cancer eyes and the sympathy head tilt. And then, you're a trooper, you're brave, so you have to be like, I'm okay. And you give the I'm okay head bob. That feeling of having getting the cancer eyes, it is a little bit sad because, you're still the same person and you're trying your best. I think a lot of people also say things like, you're so brave and you're so strong and you got this, and it's really nice. But if you don't have cancer, you just really don't know. I think I saw a meme from Instagram. I'm going to put it up, but it says, someone says, you're so brave. And then she goes, it was be brave or be dead. So I didn't have a choice. But those are probably my most memorable cancer reactions. At least they gave me a bit of a giggle when it felt like my world was crumbling. But stay tuned. Like, you can hear my voice is a bit iffy from this weird, I guess, chemo flu. I hope the phlegm goes away soon. But yeah, stay tuned. Bye.